Welcome back everybody to a brand new rebuild, and we're going over to the Eredivisie where Ajax really struggled last season. They finished in third position. We're going to try and do a bit better than that. We are using the winter update from January 23 for this rebuild, so we are disabling the transfers for the first season. I am aware that a number of transfers have gone through for the 23-24 season, so we'll try and replicate some of them transfers, especially the main ones. I think Jurrien Timber has gone to Arsenal and Alvarez has gone to West Ham. They're the two ones I know of, so I'll have a look back and see what transfers have gone through. So we'll put them through at the end of this season, end of this first season, and then we'll try and rebuild it from there. 25 grand a week. That's pretty reasonable in Holland, I feel. But first of all, our first task is to get back on top of the Eredivisie. We haven't got a director of football or an assistant manager, so that's kind of a messes with a few things as well. We are rich, enjoying our best era in the 1970s, undoubtedly one of the most successful clubs in Holland, boasting 76 competition wins. Wow, that is an absolute well, that's a lot, isn't it? That's just domination. Ajax have won the UEFA Champions League in 71, 72, 73, or the European Trophy, I think it was back then, finishing runners up on a couple of more occasions, winning the Cup Winners' Cup in 87. So the last European success was 95, and just having a look through, Eredivisie was last one in 22, so they lost it in the 22-23 season, and we're going to try and win it back. Fierce rivals Feyenoord, who incidentally did win it from them this year. Looks like their favoured formation is a 4-2-3-1, which is good, which is what I really like as well. They've got Brobeff, Kudus, Tadic, Bergwijn, Grillitz, Taylor, Rents, Alvarez, Timber, Wyondal and Rulli in goal. Quite a lot of loan obligations. Luca and Delgado coming in, which that's pretty decent. And Darami, well, I think has moved as well actually this year. He's out on loan to Copenhagen. They want us to play attacking football, develop players using the youth system, and sign players under the age of 18 for the future. I don't think that'd be for the first team, surely. Win the Eredivisie and be competitive in the Champions League, and work towards developing the best youth system in the country. Carry on winning the Eredivisie, and nothing more about Europe in that. So first of all, let's have a look at the staffing. Wow, have they not got any staff? What's going on here? Have we not got anybody? We've got a major situation going on here, so we're going to have to kit that out very, very quickly. We have got 90 million in the bank, top end of the wage budget as well. Any debts or loans? Just £115 million transfer debt and £3.7 million loans. They can pay that off. No net debt, which is good. So some of the transfers that did take place, we have got the likes of Rulli from Villarreal. There's Bassi from Rangers, Tottenham's, Bergwijn as well, Wyandal as well, Sanchez, Luca on a free. Lorenzo Luca, is he a striker by any chance? He is. Wow, okay. 21-year-old. If he's any decent, we'll try and hang on to him. And out the door we have got Anthony going to Man United, same with Martinez as well, quite a lot of money. Haller going to Dortmund, Gravenberch going to Bayern Munich, Torino having Schürrle, Tagliafico, Leon, and a few other people going out the door as well. Andre Nana going on a free to Inter, who's now at Man United. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? I can't believe they let him go on a free. So let's have a look at our squad, which seems very because we've got no staff, there's no ratings, so we need to get them in pretty quick. But that is that's insane, absolutely insane. So we don't even know how good these players are, even only that they are a very, very small squad. Unbelievable. This is going to prove to be difficult. It's no surprise they struggled this year, I think, if that's all they had to play with. So I think first off is to try and get the staff in, try and get some ratings on the board, and figure out a formation before the start of the season. And we're not that far away. I've just brought in the basic people that we need, especially the coaching staff. We struggled with it. We brought in 6 or 9, and then we let the owners bring in the rest of the staff. So we brought in the basics that we need in there, like a physio, a couple of physios, head of physio, chief doctor. We brought in a director of football, some more scouts, and everything else is going to be up to the owners. Brought in Brian Kidd. Brian Kidd is in his 70s, so we brought him as a head of youth development. He can work with the youngsters. He's pretty good. I remember him being at Manchester United as a number 2, and he's very, very good in what he does. For however long he's going to be remaining in that position, we don't know. But I was quite surprised to bring him in, and we brought in a couple of goalkeeping coaches, fitness coaches, and a couple of ordinary coaches as well as an assistant manager, which is Gerland, 68-year-old. Looks very, I mean, he could have been better as a working with the youngsters, actually, to be fair, but as a assistant manager, and he was at Germany under 21s until we brought him to ourselves. Bayern Munich had him for a while, so he can't be that bad. So the tactic, we just did a normal default Gengen press, a 4-2-3-1 DM wide. I've just tweaked it a little bit. It did have a role-playing midfielder and DM role, but I brought it up to a centre midfield in attack. Seems to suit one of our midfielders really good, and a ball-winning midfielder on defence. That's exactly where it is. Alvarez can play in that position, actually, if not in defence. So it gives Bassi a chance to play in the back 4, which I would like to see as well. And Luca, we're going to have up top. I think that was a pressing forward position. We changed it to an advanced forward, but everything else is as it is. Just to give you a bit more of the tactics, a high tempo, slightly shorter passing to space, play out of defence, and fairly wide, not wide, which I'm quite surprised at. In transition, counter press. Normally I like to play counter press and hold shape, but we'll go with the default for the time being. And out of possession, it's just a high press. Results have gone pretty well. We did lose in the Friendly Cup final to Burgos, so they're a Spanish second-tier side. We lost 3-1 after winning the semi-final 3-1, but a couple of friendlies. Bordeaux, we thrashed 7-1. I think Luca got a few goals. He got a hat-trick in that game. We did beat PSV in the Super Cup, so they beat us to second spot, and they beat us in the Dutch Cup final, I think it was. And yeah, we got our revenge back on them, so we beat them 5-0. So unfortunately, it wasn't in the league. Then we started off the league campaign. Fortuna Sittard, we beat 3-0. 3-1 against Groningen. Sparta Rotterdam 1-1 was a surprise result. It was away from home and it needed a Burgos equaliser. And Uchrei we beat 2-1 away from home as well. So 3 away games we had to navigate through, which isn't too bad. The Champions League, however, we have got Ludogorets, Sporting and Juventus in the group stage. So currently, lying second in the table, which isn't too bad. Feyenoord, who won the league last season in real life. And Eredivisie predictions, we're expected to finish top. And that's where we're hoping to be before we start losing some of our big players, of whom we'll have to replace. So without any further ado, let's get our first season underway. And let's see if we can do any better than they did in real life. Well, we've done what we wanted to do in that first season, and that was win the league. So we have surpassed Ajax, what they did in the 22-23 season, at least anyway. We win the league. And we almost have a near perfect season with just that one loss coming against Volendam. Where did they finished 15th? Wow. But other than that, we had to be on our game because Feyenoord were right behind us, and it sees us both in the Champions League next season. 97 goals scored as well, 22 conceded. Absolutely fantastic. Luca gets the leading goal scorer in the Dutch league with 32 goals. 32 out of the 97, in fact. That's even better. Tadic, who is getting on a little bit, 18 assists, best player in the league, joint highest player of the match awards. It's just an absolute overall brilliant effort from him. So league form, let's have a quick look through. A 5-0 over Canberra. Herenveen we beat 6-1. We are literally unbeaten right until that one loss at the end of January. So a long time unbeaten. Quite a few goals being scored as well. Obviously, because we've scored 97. 6-0 against MN there. 4-1 Eagles. 4-0 against Nijmegen and Herenveen. A 0-0 against Feyenoord though. We drew with Feyenoord twice actually. But apart from that, there have been all wins and a good finish towards the end as well. A 6-0 and a 5-1 there. A 4-1. I mean, in fact, we scored 10, 15, 17 goals in the last 4 games. Conceding 3. That's just brilliant. And we do get to the final of the Dutch Cup as well. Winning that 3-0 with a hat-trick from Luca. Soft header there though, but a goal all the same. 3-0 in the end. That's the domestic treble. I think it's like the Super Cup is like the Charity Shield in England. The league and now the Dutch Cup as well. Absolutely superb. Another great finish there from Luca. And then he finishes off with a hat-trick. A lovely through ball. We're waiting to see that. Look at that. Pinged him out. Beautiful goal. Safe to say that we dominated. We only conceded 2 goals along the way. We struggled against Zol. 2-1 in extra time. Nijmegen 4-0 in the third. Extra time against AZ 1-0. Excelsior 4-1. And then obviously Feyenoord 3-0 in the final. Quite an easy route. And apart from a couple of scares, job well done. The Champions League, we don't fare so well. We beat Ludogorets and Juventus at home. But we do lose to Ludogorets 4-1 away from home. Wow. Juventus, we only lose 2-1 away from home, but 3-0 to Sporting and 2-1. Very, very poor results, I feel. The home wins are more important. 10 goals, 13 conceded. It's quite a lot in Europe. It does see us drop into the Europa League, where we get to the knockout round where we beat Victoria Pleasant 5-1. Then we beat Union Berlin 6-2. Then Frankfurt 6-3. And we lose that to Milan as just the away result really causing us a few issues. Luca getting a goal back, but a 65th minute from Rebic. But in the second leg, we do get Alvarez sent off in the 85th minute when we're chasing. And we're 1-0 up at that point. It probably would have gone to extra time, but a goal by Hernandez and the penalty, I'm assuming that's because of the sending off. Disappointing to not come out of there winning, but do they win? It was Milan that beat Barcelona in the final, so we do lose to the eventual winners. So I'm not too upset, but more upset that we did lose out because of the sending off. So squad-wise, 48 goals in 54 from Luca. Absolutely stunning. If we can hang on to him, that will be brilliant for a 22-year-old as well, and he looks really good. So we're going to see if we can secure that deal, depending on how much money we get. Tadic at 34 now, still doing the business. 20 goals and 25 assists. How can you just get rid of him? You just can't. Unless there's somebody else that can come in and do the job for him. That is an absolute superb season for him. Kudos, 17 and 10. 12 for Brobby as well, the 21-year-old. With no assists, unfortunately. A few more goals right through the whole team. Assist-wise, 25 from Tadic that we've seen. Bergwijn's 14 assists along with his 7 goals. 10 for Taylor and Windle as well. And Kudos. 10 each for them. And assists right through the whole side as well. Our goalkeepers, 46 conceded in 54. And the guys that are out on loan. Darami gets 5 goals, 2 assists. And Gorta, who's out on loan, 23 conceded in 31. Next season, we know we need to get Luca, see if we can hang on to him. So what are we being given? Wow, okay, Luca's on the cards. We're going to bag him in. That's for sure. But that is absolutely superb. 33 million pounds. And we're going to be getting probably a bit more as well, because we're going to be losing a few other players as well, like Timber to Arsenal. Alvarez to West Ham. They're going to be some big boots to fill, I feel. Right, just before we get on to the main signings then, so we had to do a little jiggling around with a few new ins and outs. So first off, we do lose Banel. I think that was just a transfer that happened at the end of the season. We went to Newcastle for up to £10 million. Sofo gone to Utrecht for free. Right, so Timber, the first person to go to Arsenal, £40 million. Alvarez went to West Ham for £38 million. Bassi to Fulham for 22.5, and Darami to Reims for £12 million. So they're the ones I know about. I think there was another one which is on the next page. But some of the transfers that did go through in real life as well, apart from Carlos Borges. Now, there was a player that went to Ajax, I think it's Carlos Forbes. Same sort of player, a winger, and he was Portuguese, so that's the closest we could have come to a player of that sort anyway. So we've brought him in for £14 million. Taharovic has come from Roma for £7.5 million. Doesn't look too bad, high potential. Ramaj from Frankfurt, second team for £4 million. Medic from St. Pauli for £3 million. And Boonman for free from Toulouse. Now, they're the transfers that have happened in real life. Apart from Luca, we did bag Luca for £8.5 million though. That was agreed in one of the contract clauses that we had him on loan, that we could buy him for £8.5 million. And we did that. All that really boosted our transfer kitty. I think we had near to £100 million to spend. First up is goalkeeper Dennis Seaman. We had him in the last rebuild at Borussia Mönchengladbach, and we got him from, I think it was Stuttgart. He was an absolutely gem of a player towards the end of that rebuild, and I thought, I know, I'll bring him in early while he's cheap. And I think we got him, I'm not sure how much we got him for actually, £18.5 million, so it's still quite dear. But look at that potential. He looks absolutely brilliant, and he was really good for Borussia Mönchengladbach in that rebuild from season 4 onwards. So I decided to bring him on early and see what he can develop into. Next up from Lazio for £17.5 million. Still high potential, very good defender, 25 years old. Probably the best of an okay bunch of scouts that they brought to the table. So not too bad. We'll see how he ends up at the end of this rebuild as well. He may be replaced yet, we don't know. But Mickey van der Ven from Wolfsburg for £33 million. He is going to be our main defender. You can play at centre-back, can play at left-back, so we'll see how that goes. But I think I've stuck him at centre-back. From Juventus for £16 million, we bring in Nicolo Rivella, 21-year-old. He's going to play in the DM role. Very high potential. Ajax like to bring them in young with a lot of potential, so that's exactly what we have done. We scattered some of the younger players, and I think doing this for the future is definitely on the cards. Finally, from FLU for £13 million, Andre. Another DM option, midfield option, so we'll see how that goes. Really, I want to say for a backup, but at 22 years old, he can force himself into the first team, so we'll see what happens, but I'm quite excited to see what he brings to the table now as well. Our midfield looks very, very solid now. So £98 million spent, £37 million spent at the end of last season with all the transfers. But also there's a couple of other people. Tadic, he went out on a free to, I can't remember where he went to. But at the end of going on holiday to July, Inter came in with an offer of £5 million, and since he's going anyway, instead of a free, we decided to pick up £5 million. So, sue me. But yeah, £5 million into the kitty. Grilic, he also went now, remembered him a couple of weeks after all the other ones. He went on a free to Hoffenheim, so we had to say goodbye to him, hence why we got a couple of DMs as well. And Univar has gone to lose out on loan. So we're staying with the same formation, but some places are as they are. The two defenders at the back, Casale and Van der Ven, Seaman in the goal, Ravella and Andre, and I think Taylor's going to battle it out for the midfield role. I can't pronounce that name at all, but Francisco, he's going to play on the right hand side. Got very high potential, so I want to see how he develops. And Luca, obviously our star striker up front. Next season we are going to be looking at the left winger. I think Bergwijn and Bergwijn, they're both in the 30s, so they will need replacing next season. And safe to say our pre-season has gone superbly. We've picked up our first trophy of the season in the Super Cup against Feyenoord. We win that 1-0. We do beat Volendam and PSV in our first two games in the Eredivisie, and we also won a friendly cup as well against Barnsley in the final 5-2. We've also picked up Leipzig, Napoli and Genk in the Champions League group stage. We are lying second in the table, just purely on goal difference. And season preview has us 8-13 favourites now. I mean, I think that's better odds than what they were last season. Well, Ruli's in the Dream 11, but he's not playing this season. We've got Seaman in goal. There's a couple of Feyenoord players, AZ, amongst our players in the Dream 11. So let's get our second season kicked off. Let's see if we can do the same as or better than last season. We finished top of the table once again, considering we lost quite a few good players, especially at the back. We only conceded 20 goals this time round, which is phenomenal. Our young goalkeeper must have done really well. 20 goals conceded in 34. That's better than last season, I think, where we only conceded 22. But we scored 99 goals as well, more than last season. And we get 1 point more than last season as well. We get 90 points. But we still finished 3 points ahead of Feyenoord. Took us all the way to the wire once again. We win our last 5 games, and so did Feyenoord. Volendam, Camber and Rotterdam all go down. Sparta Rotterdam finish at rock bottom. Wow. Luca finishes top goal scorer once again. 37 goals this time. Second best player in the league behind Klaassen of AZ. Bergwijn as well, finishing on 7.33. Francisco getting 11 assists, same with Bergwijn, who gets 12. And Seaman, 18 clean sheets. Not bad for the youngster. If we have a quick look through our form then, well, again, we take that one loss right up until December this time. I think it was end of January last season. We do lose early on. 3-1 away at Feyenoord, though. But there's a lot of green in there. 0-0 against Utrecht. I keep pronouncing that name so many different times. I do apologise. Walwick at home 0-0, disappointing. Straight wins, a 5-0 win there over Herenveen, 7-0 over Sparta Rotterdam, a 7-0 over Den Haag, 5-1 MM, 6-0 there against Zwolle. Wow, there's been some big goals. 6-0 on the last game of the season as well, as we lose to Utrecht 2-0 at home. We lost a home game. Phenomenal season. We get knocked out by Camber in the second round of the Dutch Cup. 119th minute winner. And we were at home. That is just, wow, that's crazy. They got relegated as well. Who did win it in the end? It was PSV. Beat Feyenoord in the final. The Champions League looks like we fared better in the group stage this time. We did lose at home to Napoli, drew with Leipzig, beat Genk twice, drew with Leipzig twice, and lost to Napoli. Okay, I could take that. Second place finish, I'm guessing. Yeah, 8 points, only just though from Leipzig. And then we lose to Barcelona, probably expected in the round of 16. So who went and won it in the end? Wow, Napoli win it from Milan 2-0, all-Italian final. Lorenzo Luca, he's starting to be a superb buy. How is he only worth £40 million at 23? 43 goals scored, that's brilliant. Bergwijn as well, 17 goals. Bergwijn, 14 goals, 11 goals for Kudus as well. Francisco, 9 and 13 assists though. Overall, Seaman, 36 goals conceded and 40. That's pretty good. He's worth 64 million now, the 21-year-old. Andre, how did he play? 2 starts, 34 off the bench. Not really an impact. But if we look at average ratings, 6.9 for Sanchez, Medic as well. Not bad. Unavar as well. Oh, he's out on loan. 7 goals, 4 assists. That's not bad from the youngster as well, at 20 years old. So next season, £42 million. Now, we will have to move a couple of players on. We're looking for that left-hand side. So Bergwijn and Bergwijn, and probably Klaassen, probably looking to be moved on. If we can get some money for them, we can strengthen our side some more. Just a couple of transfers this window then. We haven't gone too greedy, despite the fact that we had a lot of money. And we'll show you in just a second. But £30 million Maxim Decker comes as a wonder kid with very high potential as a centre-back. So he's going to challenge our current 2 centre-backs. Hopefully he'll get some game time and we'll see him grow over the next couple of seasons. But £30 million from AZ, I think it's quite a good deal. We do spend big on another forward player, Wilfried Gnonto. He can play anywhere along the top line, which is absolutely perfect. And he's going to rival our Luca forward. He's going to test him right to the extremes, I feel. But for £68 million from Leeds, he's only 20 years old. He's already worth up to a staggering £108 million. We're all about making profit if we can. So I think another fantastic player. And another wonder kid, by the way. 20 years old and a wonder kid. And from Borussia Mönchengladbach, £25 million. We bring in Daniel Malin. Somebody that could play on the left-hand side. I know we've got Gnonto for that position as well, although like I say, he can play anywhere along the front line. He can play as striker, he can play left winger. He's going to help Bergwijn out as well. Bergwijn probably, I think, is now one of our oldest players in the team now, at 26 years old, I think he is. Malin's already had a couple of games for us, and hopefully he'll improve some as well. He's got very high potential also, and look at that pace and acceleration. Looks phenomenal. So if we have a look at some of the players that went out the door. So if we look at the end of last season, Rouley, the goalkeeper, he's gone to Al Ain, I think in Saudi Arabia, up to £14 million. He was 33 years old. 32 years old. We snatched their hands off. So we do lose Kudos. He's gone to Juventus. Mohamed, £70 million. It's money we just could not turn down. And hence why we bought Gnonto as well. Because £70 million Kudos, he was pretty good. And again, I think we're going to find it hard to replace him. 8 goals last season, 4 assists. In the sevens, Claessen's gone to Porto, £14 million. Borges, he didn't really establish himself in the team at all. Derby fancied a go at him, so they came in with £7.5 million bid. Yes, we made a loss on him. I think he cost us £14 million last season, but he goes this season for half the price virtually. I think it's just wages and just get some money in. And Bergwijn has gone to Lille as well for £11.25 million. We also say goodbye to Mauricio van Axel Dongen. £9 million. I wasn't really sure whether to let him go or not because he's got very high potential. He's a winger. I mean, he looks pretty good and 19 years old as well. But he was only in our second team, so for £9 million, I'd gladly taken the money. Finances, however, we still had a lot of money in the budget still. We've got £400,000 in the wages budget. We didn't need it. And 200 million in the bank as well. But more importantly, there's no debt. The only debt we have got is a transfer debt now, which is 50 million, but obviously that can be wiped out. But £199 million in the bank. That is nice. So hopefully they'll give us a guaranteed more money than that. So if I can make a board request right now, increase transfer budget next season, I'll do that. And we're at 100% as well. We were at 95% last season, I think we were. We've managed to get that increased. We're staying with the same formation as well, but our pre-season was a bust. We lose to Club Brugge 1-0 in a friendly. Beat Harbour 3-1 in this friendly cup semi-final. Then we lose to Hearts on penalties, which was a surprise. We lose 5-3 to Leipzig in a friendly, and then we start our League and Super Cup campaign, which we win the Super Cup for the 3rd time on the bounce. We beat Utrecht, again, I'm pronouncing it different again, so I do apologise. 6-1 in this game. Luca gets 4 goals. Gnonto gets 1 with Univar, the youngster. We have got a few youngsters coming inside as well, which is why we didn't bring in more players. Very high potential. He's an attacking midfielder. He can play out to the wing as well. At 21 years old, looks pretty solid. 2-0 against PSV after the 3-0 win in the Super Cup. And Willem the second 3-0. Champions League takes up a different format this season. Shakhtar, Juventus, Milan, Ghent, Inter, Liverpool, Monaco, Newcastle. We should beat Ghent. Doesn't look that hopeful, does it? We are lying top of the table for a change in the first round of games. 10 goal difference already. Fantastic. Level on points with Nijmegen and Vitesse. Where's Feyenoord? Lying in 5th, and PSV. Ooh, they've lost 2 games now to ourselves and Feyenoord. So let's go ahead and simulate our 3rd season. Let's bring home the bacon once again and get a little bit further in the Champions League if we can get out the group stage. We win the league once again. What can I say? It's getting better and better. We're getting more points each season. And I think last season we got our most points ever in the league of 90. Now we've surpassed that by an extra point. Looking at that, 2 losses in the last 3 games. Wow, we only lost 3 in total, but 2 of them come in then. But 106 goals scored. We do surpass the 100 goals mark. So that's fantastic as well. However, Feyenoord only conceded 19 goals. Wow. And we do win 30 league games as well. I mean, that must be a record as well, surely. Luca, 28 goals. Gnonto, 18 goals. Superb. And look at the average rating as well. Luca, the best player in the league. Univar, 7.43. he also gets the top assists as well. What can I say? Wins, 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 and more wins. November, a particularly good time. 6-0, 6-1, 4-0, 4-0. I mean, it is literally unbeaten right up until March, where we lost to FC20. Really? And then 1-0 against Feyenoord and 2-1 against AZ. Are they all away from... They are away from home. Did we drop the draw? Oh, the draw was at home to Feyenoord. That's a very, very good season. Disappointed about the losses, I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty happy with that. The Dutch Cup, however, wow, we beat Nijmegen 3-0. We beat Eindhoven 5-1, but we lose to Heracles Almelo 1-0 away from home. 75th minute, wow. That's disappointing not to get to the final. We've only won it the once in this rebuild so far. That was the first season. The Champions League, we do finish in 13th position, so we go into the round of 16. We get 4 wins. Liverpool, we beat Liverpool 5-2. And Juventus 1-0. We drew with Newcastle and Monaco. Did we lose to Inter, both Italian clubs? That win against Liverpool, that's fantastic. Man City do win the group with Barcelona. And the knockout round, we beat Copenhagen 8-7 overall. What a tie. Wow, 54th minute winner by Luka. Wow, that's some game that is, isn't it? 8-7. Wow. And then Barcelona, we lose 3-0 over the 2 legs. So who won overall? Leipzig beat Liverpool. Liverpool beat Barcelona in the semi-finals. Leipzig, Napoli on penalties. So another disappointment in Europe. However, how did our players do? So 34 goals from Luka from 36 games. 19 from Wilfried from 35. 15 from Malin. He got 31 games. Did Bergwijn play? He did. Bergwijn did play 31 games as well. 13 goals. Francisco, he did play out on the wing. 12 goals, 17 assists. And Univar, fantastic stuff from the youngster. 11 goals, 18 assists. Seaman as well in goal. The 19-year-old. He is 19 years old and he only concedes 44 in 47 games. How many clean sheets did he get? And he gets 13 clean sheets this season, 18 last season. I mean, he's putting in some performances. Luka, on the other hand, I'm just intrigued as to how many goals he's now scored for the club. 97 in 98. Wow, he's having the time of his life. And already Wilfried's almost surpassed his goals tally that he got at Leeds. We've got a very strong side here. It's where do you... I mean, everybody's average ratings, 6.99. I mean, what did he get? 4 goals, 8 assists. He only played 19 games, 25 off the bench. Andre, he played 35 games, 5 and 5. He's not doing as well, though, is he? 5 and 5, so 10 goal involvements, 12 for Ravella, both 23. I mean, we have got a young side. We just need that extra oomph somewhere to put us into the next level. How did Taylor do? Taylor, 23 as well. He did play majority of the games in midfield, 14 goal involvements. Feel like we just need that extra bit, I think. But where do you improve? Because the lads that we have got are very, very good. So if we have a look at finances, £55 million. Let's ask for some more. We're not being greedy. We just want to, we want some more. Although we can change the wages budget. We've got 800 grand a week. We can definitely adjust that. I mean, if we did, I mean, we're still, even at 200 grand a week? I mean, 79 million. Wow, it's a lot. Where do you improve? Because our front line is superb. Right, let's go and spend some of this money. I'm sure we can pick up 1 or 2 players more. Big transfer story this season. A release clause was met and we lost Wilfried Gnonto. He's gone to Chelsea. But get this, for £93 million. Nearly £30 million more than what we paid for him. He looks absolutely stunning. He did have a great season with us last season. 27 games, 18 goals, 6 assists, 5 player of the matches, a 7.4. He should have stayed. He should have stayed. He might have a better chance of winning the Champions League with Chelsea, but he should have stayed with us, I feel. With that in mind, we had to go into the market. So we raided Dortmund. Yosufa Mukoko, 20-year-old wonder kid, striker option. Yes, we have Luka, but we had Gnonto as well as either a backup or just to challenge each other, and £77 million it's cost us, so a snippet of what Chelsea paid. We still have money left over from that, and we used it elsewhere, but look at these stats for this 20-year-old. Wow, physicals look amazing. He's got perfect dribbling, finishing, he's got a great first touch, a technique is superb. If he doesn't score plenty of goals, I don't know who will. Luca possibly, but he's got 4 goals in 3 for us this season with an assist, and he's playing at an 8. From Salzburg for £42 million, Oscar Glauk, 21 years old, attacking midfielder or midfield option. We've got Univar now that can play in that cam role, but we a little bit short on players for backups, and he's going to challenge Univar anyway, so it'll improve them at least. That's what I'm hoping. But 21 years old, again, stats look absolutely amazing. I just think that even if we do sell him, we'll sell him for a profit. Would we get £130 million for him? I'll snatch their hands off if we did. And then finally from Copenhagen for £10 million, another wonder kid, but only £10 million, a right winger. I felt like the right hand side was a little bit shy of quality players, and with his acceleration and pace, he's got great dribbling as well with a perfect first touch as well. He can pass, he's got good technique. I think he's got it all, and at only 19 years old, he can only get better. So we only spent £129 million. We did have a lot of money, but there wasn't anybody really we could have had in that would really improve the side much. Maybe the last season, possibly, when the players are getting a little bit older now. However, we do also lose Medic. He's gone to Auxerre for £5.5 million. Brobby, he's gone. We weren't really using him. Not fair to keep him. Gijon got him for £8.5 million. And George Sanchez as well has gone to Celtic for up to £9.5 million. Tactically, we've kept with the same side. We've gone more attacking this time, and we've put a Volante in there. I've seen a lot of people use that position, and it is probably one of the positions that they are using an awful lot of in FM23 this season. So I'm going to give it a go. So with that in mind, we've only taken 2 losses in the friendlies. We lost the Friendly Cup final to Copenhagen. We lost 2-0 after winning 4-2 against Standard Liège in the semi-final. But the other friendlies went without a hitch, apart from Augsburg, where we lost 2-1. We did beat Feyenoord to get the Super Cup for the 4th time on the bounce. This is when I changed it to more attacking, and we put the Volante in there. And we've beat Heerenveen 4-1. We beat Nijmegen 7-2. And then Willem the second 5-0. There's nobody who's specifically getting a lot of goals, so we'll see how it pans out. The Champions League, however, we've picked up Real San Sebastian, Roma, Milan, Celtic, Napoli, Bayern Munich, Zvezda and Spurs. We are lying top of the table, as you would expect, and we're probably going for our 4th title on the bounce as well, if we can. Confirmation of the Johan Cruyff Super Cup that we did win, and reached the semi-final minimum in the Dutch Cup, so that's kind of a little bit of a pressure off. And the standings 4-6 now to win the league. There's a lot more other players in the Dream 11, which I'm not happy about. 1, 2, 3, 4 people taking up some of our places, I feel, but even so, we do have the majority. So let's simulate our 4th season, see if we can do a little bit better in Europe. Europe's the main prize, that's what I want. Well, it's another fantastic effort in the league. Champions yet again. 90 points achieved again. But look at that goal difference. 98 goal difference. 124 goals scored. 26 conceded. Feyenoord only conceded 22. They seem to do better defensively, but they don't seem to score many goals. So I'm happy about what we're doing, at least anyway. So that's pretty good. I'm really, really chuffed with that. But there's a lot of teams like Willem are in the Europa League and RKC Waalwijk Conference League. Wow, PSV, Utrecht and Feyenoord also in Europe. We lost 2 games though. Utrecht and Sittard. It's disappointing. And we drew against FC20, PSV and Go Ahead Eagles. In the league there, Makuko and Malin, top goal scorers, but Makuko 36 goals, but there's no Luca. The time to move him along then if Makuko's settling in nicely. But look at that, Makuko gets the best player in the league. Bergwijn, Bardiju, Malin, Francisco, Taylor. I mean, we just dominate. So our league form, we do carry on winning quite convincingly. A 6-1 win over Vitesse there. 5-0 against Roger. A couple of more big wins. 6-2 against MM. A couple of 4-0s. 6-0 Herenveen and PSV. We batter 6-1 as well. 5-0 against Go Ahead Eagles again. 7-0 against Willem. And 6-2 there. 4-2 against AZ. Yeah, we have pretty much dominated. Bear in them couple of defeats though. The Dutch Cup, we do get to the final. We lose to Willem. What? How? What? We go ahead and we can't hold on. Did we not have any forwards in this game? I'm just having a look through our team here. Luca didn't play. Mukoko looks like he didn't play. Malin, he did play. 6.3. Yeah, very poor result though. But along the way we do batter everybody though, so it's quite a good few results there. 5-2 victory over AZ after extra time. So 3 goals in extra time from Mukoko, Taylor and Univar. Univar gets some game time as well. Brilliant. The Champions League, we get as far as the round of 16 where we lose to Porto. 2-0 at home as well after taking a 1-0 win away from home. I didn't expect that. I expected us to at least go through there, so that's disappointing. But in the league phase, we only lose to Milan 3-1 and Tottenham 5-0. 8-3 there. We beat Bayern Munich 8-3. Univar hat-trick, Bergwijn a brace and Mukoko with a hat-trick as well. My word, that's a cracking result, that is. Napoli we thrashed 5-2. Celtic 5-0. Goodness gracious. Let's just have a look at where did we finish. We finished 3rd in the end. Just them 2 losses, but 29 goals scored. That's just insane. And it was actually Liverpool that got to the final with Arsenal and Liverpool win it. So there's been no shortage of goals and 58 goals. Mukoko does really well. I'm just intrigued where Luca is. He did only play 3 games, bless him. And he's starting to fade off a little bit. 8 goals in 3 starts, 1 assist. It might be time to move him along. I'm disappointed. He is wanted, though. Norwich for a transfer. Just have a quick look at him. I mean, he had some very, very good seasons with us. I mean, it's been superb. Absolutely superb. Just unfortunate didn't get as much game time this season with the arrival of Mukoko. But 104 goals in 110 appearances. That's cracking. But Mukoko looks like he's taken over the mantle. Malin with 20 goals, 11 assists. Bergwijn with 16 goals. I mean, a lot of players getting double figures though, which is good. Assist-wise, 22 for Rooney. 14 for Oscar Gluck. 13 for Francisco on that right-hand side. Window with 12 from defence. Oh, he's our left-back, isn't he, Window? 11 for Malin. Andre, 11 from that volante position. I mean, a lot of players getting double figures in assists. Bergwijn, Taylor. Seaman only conceded 48 this season. Decker did get some game time as well. Where's Wrench? Oh, there he is, sorry. 9 assists. Okay. That's still pretty solid, but it's not good enough in Europe. So going on to this season, £60 million. We've got loads of money in the bank. We're going to see if we can get some more before we start the spending. Increased transfer budget, please. It is the final season coming up. This formation, we don't concede many goals. It's not good enough to beat the likes of those in Europe, though, is it? We may just change it up a little bit. Right, with a couple of signings coming our way. Baby-faced Asan Udrago. 20 years old, wonder kid. He can play in the midfield. That's where we really want him to be playing. And he looks like the perfect fit. I mean, look at his physicals. Look really fantastic as well. £67 million from Schalke. For £25 million from Nice, we bring in Matteo Vitti, a defender. We're a little bit short on defenders. We've only got 2 main ones really. We want some backup. And I think he'll suit the job pretty well. He looks already high standard. And with us changing formation also, we need somebody who's going to be reasonably quick and that can head the ball. And this chap can just do that. Another midfielder for £36 million from Chelsea, no less. 23-year-old Casady. Another midfielder again. Taylor has been dominating, but he is starting to drop off just a little bit. He didn't have such a good season last season. If he plays, he's going to have a little bit of competition. And from £29.5 million from Cologne, Alan Velasco. Bergwijn's getting a little bit older. I think he's 27, 28 now. We were tempted to move him on this season, but again, he's only 28 and he has been doing the job for us, and he's a really good stand-in if we get somebody, a first teamer in there. And I think Velasco will be that chap. 24 years old, very quick. He's got excellent dribbling as well, and he's already scored 2 goals for us in 3 games. So overall, £158 million spent. But we do say goodbye to a lot of talent there. Ravella, he's gone to Manchester United for £45 million. We literally rinsed them. We kept denying them, and in the end, we settled at 45. Luca has also gone. He's gone for a meagre £21 million to Mainz. HSV pick up Tarovic for £5 million. Didn't really get any game time. And a couple of youngsters, actually. Miss Hoy goes to Freiburg for £12 million. 21 years old. Didn't get any game time, but he still looked pretty good, and he's got a high potential as well, but he's not getting any game time. And we've brought in Velasco now, so he's definitely not going to get any game time now, unfortunately. Also, Ugu goes to Wolves for up to £9 million, and West Ham take Ratzi, another youngster, for nearly £10 million. Again, these youngsters are going very, very high money. But that did help us fund these players here, so hopefully this will help us in the European competitions. Formation, we are playing a formation that I use with Real Madrid. Real Madrid won everything with it, so I just want to see how it goes. We've got a box-to-box midfielder and a ball-winning midfielder in defence. I'm very tempted to do that on support, but we'll leave it as it is. We'll see how it goes. But the one shocker is Makoko hasn't scored a goal yet. Pre-season didn't go very well, actually. We didn't win any of our games, which was a very, very surprising, including a 3-0 loss to Brentford. We do win the Super Cup. We beat Willem II. They beat us in the cup final last season. We beat them in the Super Cup. So we claim that. 5 wins on the bounce now, that trophy. The league campaign, however, Campbell we thrashed 5-0. Warwick we beat 3-1, and VVV Venlo 2-0 as well. The Champions League, we got Marseille, Liverpool, Manchester United. We'll get to see Ravella in that setup, I guess. Getafe, Leipzig, Chelsea, Leverkusen and Karabag. Currently lying top of the table with 9 goals. Same with PSV and Feyenoord. So it could be a tight affair this season. But we are 49 favourites to win from Feyenoord and PSV. For the 5th season on the bounce, we've won the league yet again. We've created such a really good side now. With that 1 loss in the last 5. We do lose 2 games overall. Win 30 games as well. We lose to PSV and AZ. Scoring 97 goals, conceding 20, which is the least in the league. For a change, it has gone perfectly for us, but the question remains, how did we do in the other competitions, really? Because the league is almost a gimme, not quite, but it almost is. 7 points the difference this time round. PSV doing pretty well. Makoko gets 24 goals with Malin as well, 19. Top goal scorers, Windle, Van der Ven, top players in the league as well, alongside Wrench and Malin. Windle gets most assists with Bargy as well with 11, and Wrench 9. Seaman gets most clean sheets in a season. It's been an perfect all-round performance to finish this rebuild off. So our league form, look at that sea of green right up until towards the end of the year, where we lose 3-2 to AZ, which was away from home, and a 48th minute winner there for them. 3-1 up at that point. We do get one back with 20 minutes to go, but it's just not enough to come back into the game. But unfortunate, but we had a pretty good run. Then a couple of draws, so we do slip up at quite a few points there. And then the sea of green continues with some pretty good scores. Willem 5-0, 5-1 against Heracles Almelo. Couple of 4-1s. Anything big there? 5-1 against Utrecht. 5-0 Campbell right at the beginning. Some pretty good results. We do get to the Dutch Cup final, and it's Che Adams that puts PSV ahead of us as early as the 11th minute. But we do get back into the game, and we do win the competition like we did in the first season. We win it right at the end of the rebuild as well. 5th season it's nice to get back on top in this competition, and what a beautiful goal that is, straight through the goalkeeper's arms there. Along the way we do have some good wins. Helmond we win 6-2 there, and Utrecht we win in the extra time in the semi-final. 103rd minute from Oscar Glauc as well. He's turning into proved to be a very, very good player for us. With the domestic trophies in the bag, the 3, we find ourselves in the Champions League final. The formation has done wonders. We get to play Arsenal, and we go ahead through a penalty. Saka equalises, and then we get a winner towards the end. I can't believe we've won the Champions League final. We had to wait to the 5th season. We had to wait to change the formation. What an interception there by Taylor Makoko, who has done stunningly well again this season, gets the winner. Pretty much outplayed. I'm not going to lie. We do have a lot of possession, but 5 shots on goal to Arsenal's 15, and we come out 2-1 winners. Fantastic. And Bergwijn gets man of the match as well. So in the group stage, we only manage a 15th position finish with 4 wins against Chelsea, 3-0, Manchester United 3-0, Marseille and Getafe. We draw with Karabag and Leverkusen and lose to Leipzig and Liverpool. We get thrashed by Leipzig, concede 10 goals. Half of them were by Leipzig as well. 12 goals scored. But it is Real Madrid and Leipzig who finished top of the group, joint with 22 points. Played Marseille in the knockout round. We thrashed them 8-2 thanks to an 8-0 victory at home, with Glauc getting 5 goals. Unbelievable. Then PSG, after a 1-0 win at home, the winner coming from Taylor, a penalty in the 87th minute. We draw 0-0 away from home in the last 16. Barcelona, the same things happened again. 1-0 over the 2 legs. Rooney Bargi getting the winner on the 25th minute at home, and then a 0-0 away from home, which leads us into the semi-finals where we win 1-0 away from home through Makoko. And then we batter Bayern Munich 4-2 at home. Goals from Makoko, hat-trick, and Malin again. I mean, it's a fantastic result. And it's not as if we've not played hard teams. We've played, I think, all the English teams in the competition in there, it feels like, and top European teams also. That is a phenomenal way to finish as well. A quadruple season. 37 goals from Makoko, 22 years old, worth upwards of £150 million. He'll be sought after if he isn't already, which I'm surprised he's not. Malin, though, is wanted by Newcastle, West Ham and Atletico. He's 28 years old now, worth up to 104, and he scored 27 goals for us. 19 for Vink, who's out on loan. 14 goals for Glauc as well, which is amazing, with 7 assists. 13 goals for Bargi as well. That's fantastic as well. A lot of other players getting some goals as well, and everybody else getting at least 1 game this season. Assist wise, 3 people getting double figures, all on 16. Rooney, Wrench and Windle. Finances, have we cleared all debts now? Well, there's a stunning £64 million going into next season anyway. £7 million transfer debt, but there is no debt overall, which is good. Staffing wise, we've got the best of the best, I feel. Is O'Brien Kidd still with us? I don't think he is, actually. So let's have a look at some records, see if we have managed to break any records in this 5 seasons. 92 points in the season, which is the most of the season just gone. 124 goals scored in the season before. Highest attendance against PSV, 61,000, with 1.55 million gate receipts against Manchester United in the Champions League, the season just gone as well. Average attendance 57,000, which is a record as well. Lowest attendance was against Cambor, 45,000. So no biggest wins. 14-0 there against a different Dange. Makoko 58 goals in the 25-26 season is the most players goals by in a season. 7.7 is the highest rating by him as well. Most goals by player in the match, Luca 7 in the 7-0 win against Den Haag. I must have missed that one in the 2024, so the 2nd or 3rd season. 7-0, he scored all 7 goals. That's phenomenal. Tadic most assists. Seaman most clean sheets in the season, 29. Most man of the match awards for Makoko. Highest transfer fee received, £108 million for Nonto to Chelsea, which is £93 million. pounds, 108 million euros. That's a lot to take in. I think it's been a very successful season. I can't believe it. And I think it is the first time that we have won the Champions League. Oh, we have won it 5 times now. We get to keep the trophy. So the last time 99-5, we finally win it in 2027. An abundance of league wins as well, which we carry on from 19 to 20, 21, 22, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, which is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 seasons on the bounce. So that's where we're going to leave it. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoy that, smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. If there's any more suggestions down below of who you would like to see rebuilt next, then please let me know. And until the next rebuild, thank you very much for watching. Thank you.